everybody. Welcome to another edition of Soccer Talk on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. I'm digital producer Greg Rocool, joined again by anchor Bo Williams, as always. Bo, how are you doing today?
Doing good, doing good. This is getting interesting here toward the end. I know we still got a few games left for One Knox, but still trying to figure out where they're going to finish in this top half of the table as we get ready to head to the playoffs. So, we'll see where things lay out, but still some games to be played.
A lot of fun stuff. It's all happening right now. MLS is reaching its apex.
Big night last night for a lot of teams.
Absolutely. We got, Champions League, European competitions now in full swing. This new format for Champions League is pretty interesting.
Right.
Yeah, we got the USL leagues that are really spinning up. It's great to see the USL Super League, the new women's league, get off the ground. So, yeah, a lot of fun stuff.
Don't forget conference.
Conference. Respect the conference league.
My Hearts of Midlothian won today. It's a shock.
Yeah.
They haven't won a game all season.
Wow.
In Scotland or anywhere for that matter, and they actually won today. So hey, it's big. There's my moment of celebration.
Absolutely. Being a soccer fan is great because year round, you're gonna find something.
There's always something,
and there's something to be enjoyed.
Mm-hmm. Even if it's painful, it can be painful. It can be great. Hearts has been painful. Charlotte's been great. We actually made the play. We made the playoffs last year, but as a wild card, actually solidified a spot last night. We almost gave it away to Chicago. I say we. I don't play for them. You know what I mean? When you're a big fan. And your Nashville team. We'll talk a little bit more about the stadium down over there, but your Nashville team still about 4 points out of that wild card spot with two big games coming up. So could still happen.
Yeah, it's been exciting to see this Nashville team under new coach BJ Callahan.
Yeah.
It was very bizarre. I went to the Cincinnati game last weekend.
Okay.
It was my first time ever seeing a Nashville game not coached by Gary Smith or the interim. I saw one game under the interim, but that goes all the way back to 2017, I think, back in USL. So it was a very bizarre feeling to see a new man on the touchline, but they gave it away last night against DC United, so it's really going to be tough in these last two. But hopefully, there's some green shoots under the new manager, so it's going to be interesting to see how they approach 2025.
Well, let's go with for a long time we were kind of counting Nashville out, and the fact now that they're actually still battling here with just a couple games to go says a lot about what maybe they're finally kind of turning things around a little bit and getting back on track. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, very interesting. The MLS playoff format very forgiving. So many teams are still in the mix.
It's like hockey.
So plenty of teams still have everything to play for.
Right.
But speaking of teams with everything to play for still, this is a One Knoxville team that came into Tuesday's game with an opportunity to clinch their first ever professional playoff berth against a Forward Madison team coming off a emotional shootout loss in the USL Jägermeister Cup final. So it was a big one this past Tuesday as we enter this final month of the regular season here.
And the fact that they came away with a point, I know you want the win. You win, you're in, right, so to speak. But this is still a big point that they were able to pull away, especially knowing, and we'll talk more about what's coming up for One Knox, but knowing at least the next couple of games what they have coming in where they could really grab a nice little a bag of points there. It was good with a team like Madison to be able to at least come away with a point. One of the three, but I'll take a draw.
Exactly. I think I'm sure this was a Forward Madison team that they came into this game having to either win or draw to clinch a playoff. So especially coming off that really grueling final, I'm sure it was a very tempered kind of risk-averse game plan from each team, from what it seemed like.
And obviously a team with some depth. I know that I was looking at some of the notes. Greg always puts together some notes, some things maybe you didn't think about when heading into the game. But for that one, they made 7 changes. Madison did. So coming off of that Jägermeister Cup loss. So it shows some of the depth of that team. It was still a very strong team they had out there.
Absolutely, yeah. Some of their best players, didn't even travel. Like a Christian Cheney, Wolfgang Prentice, one of the best names in USL, by the way, Wolfgang Prentice. But so on one side of the coin, I would say a good result for Madison, and to a certain extent, it does feel like an opportunity missed for a Knoxville team.
Yeah, I think missed, but I still think you pulled a point away. You're still in the hunt to hopefully get a home field spot. A lot better if we'd come away with that after being down, losing 3 points in that game. I'll take the point.
Absolutely. So let's take a look at some of the action here. We got into a busy first half highlights here, and This is something we've seen all year from this Knoxville team, just the ability of those wingbacks to contribute. You see some great work from Stuart Ritchie down the left-hand side here. Incredible, one-on-one ability to beat his man, to eventually get this low cross in. Missed clearance here, drops it right into the path of James Thomas, but unfortunately he can't get that one on frame. But, I don't know how many teams are going wingback to wingback in the attack like Knoxville does. As regularly as they do.
But it says a lot about our wings. I was looking on the USL website and kind of breaking down some of the stats, and 17 of the 20 goals this season for One Knox have all been inside the box. And a lot of that is you see the service. And we've been showing this to you all year. Our wingbacks do a great job bringing it up. Sometimes they play a little give and go as they're going, but then we get some great looks, crosses into the box, great opportunities. And obviously, they got to keep punching in there. That is where we're at our strength right now with 17 goals this season.
And it's interesting, it's not maybe the cross when you might, the basic cross that you might think of in your mind where, you're putting it onto a forward's head. Not always, there is a little bit of that, but not really the case. It's a lot of, low crosses, cutbacks to the penalty spot or the edge of the box. I really think if they did have a big number 9 type forward who they were able to, get some, more aerial service into, I think that would be a really great asset for this team. It's unfortunate that they don't have that dimension to this attack.
Well, here's the bizarre stat, since you bring that up. 2 headers. Goals this year off headers. 2 so far this season.
Okay.
Everything else has been on the ground. If you're curious, and again, this is a bizarre stat, 11 have been off the left foot. 7 have been off the right. There you go.
Kempis Tequila, left footer, 9 goals this season.
Big reason why. But yeah, it is a great point. Yeah, a lot of these this hasn't been your typical crossing it in, we're getting a header, putting it in the far corner, something like that. Just 2 have come off the noggin. Everything else has come off the foot.
And I would imagine, some of those are, corner kicks. We do have some aerial threat from the defenders coming up on set pieces. So I imagine those headers are, on set pieces with one of the big center backs. Speaking of outside the box, though, one player who is never afraid to shoot from distance is a Frank Ross, and we saw this, on display in a couple different instances here. Kind of gets to control this clearance, and he uncorks one from distance after, getting a hold of that, short clearance there, and almost, scores this one from distance. I mean, I love watching Frank Ross. He's one of the most talented players on this team. He's got a lot in the locker, whether it's, shooting from distance or the ability to dribble, but yeah, I've said this before. Just the threat of shooting from outside the box, I feel like is such a good asset to any attack. Just across sports, really. They got to come out and defend you high as opposed to dropping in and really.
It's the same concept as basketball.
Exactly.
It's the same thing in basketball. You're trying to bring them out, open up something maybe inside, but Frank Ross covers a lot of ground. We should probably call him like the Flying Scotsman.
Yeah,
which I think was taken. I can't remember the Eric Little. Was that it from Chariots of Fire?
I feel like I have heard
Flying
that.
Scotsman. But maybe we'll carry on that nickname.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's a name that we're going to bring up a little bit later here. Yep. But it was Madison that took the lead first here. On just a couple minutes to go left in the first half, we see a little bit of a lucky bounce here, and a rare giveaway from Jordan Skelton leads to an opportunity for John Murphy to shoot, and then Juan Glindrez follows up and is able to score that one. So yeah, like I said, very rare to see Jordan Skelton, the captain of this team. He's so steady at the back there. Goes for a pass back into the midfield that is intercepted and leads to that chance. But Jordan Skelton's been such an anchor for this team. He rarely puts a foot wrong.
Yeah, and Glindrez, by the way, no one picked him up coming through, and he found himself. That was almost a gift right there for him to pick it up. But yeah, I mean, sometimes those things are going to happen. That is for sure. But the great thing is about this One Knox team that we've seen time and time again, they don't buckle when they go down. And usually they only give up about a goal a game. So you're still thinking all we need is another one or two, and we're in great shape. So they don't really panic when they go down or if they give up a goal at some point.
Absolutely, and yeah, they never get too high or low, or too attacking, a little bit too unbalanced. While they finally snapped that long unbeaten streak, but the streak of not conceding more than 1 goal still very much intact. That has not happened since June 22nd. So yeah, they are in every game, even if they do concede first like they did here. And we saw it. That lead only lasted only a couple minutes into the second half when we see this nice little combination play. The ball goes up to Kempis Tequila. He nods it down to Frank Ross, who puts that dribbling ability on full display, carrying it into the box, you know, isolating the defenders. Nice little give and go combination with Tequila here.
Yeah.
Comes to the edge of the box, and he makes no mistake about it and curls that one into the side netting to equalize.
That's a great goal, by the way.
Class.
And after all that about, you know, we get 17 inside the box, it's nice to see. There's a few that we do put in from outside, but what a great shot. I don't know, was that, maybe you've seen, where's that fallen as far as, is it even voting for goal of the week? I mean, that's just a great shot.
I think, yeah, I've not seen the voting yet open for goal of the week, but I would be surprised if that one is not on there.
It's got to at least be on the ballot.
And yeah, Frank Ross has got the flair for the spectacular. I mean, one of the best pieces of video that we've shot since you know, the team's gone pro. Great free kick goal that KCK captured from you know, behind the shooter. You know, you get great to see the arc of it. So yeah, love watching Frank Ross. Always has the potential to do something special, and you saw it on display here.
I'm going with the Flying Scotsman. I'm going to stick with this for Frank. I think that we need to. He deserves a nickname.
I like it, and I've said this before. You know, if Kempis Tequila is the talisman, the straw that stirs the drink, but if a player like a Frank Ross could get hot and, you know, string together a couple nice attacking performances, that would just be so huge for this team.
Keeps that defense guessing, you know. Zeracostas as well. He's always causing some issues when he's out there on the field. So many people out there, but yeah, if we get a few more guys to contribute to the actual scoring effort, really kind of opens things up for you heading into the postseason.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see. I can just add in this last highlight here, and if you were paying attention last year, Jimmy Villalobos was a regular in the One Knoxville midfield last year. You know, set a really nice floor, really nice operator in the middle of the park. Went on loan to Forward Madison for the season this year, so we got to see one of their former players in this match, and he almost made them pay late in the game here. Let's see if I can get this proper chance here. Actually, I think that was the one. Let me see here.
Yeah, we'll play. We'll see what happens. There we go.
Exactly. All right, yeah, here we go. And turnover here on midfield. You know, Frank Ross trying to dribble a little bit. That is the risk here. Forward Madison's able to attack down the left-hand side. You know, some of those transition moments where Knoxville can get caught out. You know, lays it off to the top of the box. Jimmy Villalobos has a chance to strike on goal, and eventually does get blocked out by Sievert Haugli. But man, you can tell on his face right there. It seems like he maybe wanted that one.
Yeah, he did.
Just to maybe stick it to some of his former teammates there. But
some bragging rights to say,
indeed,
that goal I scored against you.
The first One Knoxville professional goal scorer, by the way, Jimmy Villalobos, scored a penalty in the first ever professional match for Knoxville against Lexington. But that was how it ended. We had a couple. It seemed like Madison kind of went on the ascendancy in the last, 20 to 30 minutes of the game. Didn't result in a couple of huge chances, but it was a little bit disappointing to not see Knoxville maybe try and push for that all 3 points in the final 20 minutes or so. But like we said, this is one of the best teams in League One, so I think this is a result that both teams are not totally satisfied with, but something that is acceptable.
And like you said earlier, I mean, being at home, if you're One Knox, you're thinking, okay, no, we want the 3 points. But again, as I mentioned earlier, and I agree with exactly what you just said, the fact they both come away with a point, especially for One Knox coming out of this, it would have been a lot worse if we came away with nothing. You come away with a point against a really good team, and take that, and we're a really good team as well. I'm not downplaying One Knox, but you come against, you bring something away like that, who's a top half of the team as far as the playoffs are concerned. With Madison, that's a big point. And when you look at what's coming up next for us in our next 2 games, which should, now you'll be disappointed if you don't come away with points in the next 2, even though we got a big rivalry game coming up. We ought to be in good shape to possibly adjust our standing and hopefully get a home field, at least a home game, at least one or a couple here soon with a couple of wins here.
Absolutely. Still very much in the mix to host that home playoff spot as we take a look at the standings here on the league website. Madison gets the X besides their name, clinch their postseason place, while the rest of the playoff places look pretty much solidified, even though they don't have those X's next to the next 6 or 7 names. But
I don't know why. I mean, what is 9? Scroll down here for a second. South, okay, 19. If they've got what do we got left? We got 4 games left. So yeah, I guess you can't quite put the X up there yet. But
not quite yet.
It's close.
But Knoxville is going to go down to Chattanooga this weekend. A little in-state action with Chattanooga fighting for their playoff lives. Knoxville needs a win to clinch their first playoff berth. So this is going to be a big one. going down to the First Soccer Pacific Stadium in Tennessee. It's a pretty cool venue if you guys ever get a chance to check it out. And it's great to see that some of the ticket proceeds from this match will go to hurricane relief in East Tennessee. So it's great to see.
Trip, go down and support the team. You're just not supporting One Knox, but you're also supporting all of our friends up in Cotton County, Unicoi County, all those in Greene County that have been so impacted. Carter as well, by Helene. So double win for you there, hopefully.
Absolutely. Saturday, 7:30. I will be there. Come say hey, and it's going to be a great game. And
but I think this is the one. I mean, like you said, Chattanooga's fighting for their playoff lives, so they have to win this game, right? One Knox, you at least got to come over with a point. But I think this is definitely one where you can steal 3. We saw when they came up here last time, you get under their skin a little bit. They got a little hot-headed. Chattanooga's kind of lost their cool in their last visit here. We were able to really take care of business against them. So this is a great opportunity. And then right after that, you're going to play the last place team as they come into town. Was it Central Fuego?
Right, Central Valley Fuego coming over from Fresno, dead last, really difficult season for them, 12 points from 18 matches. So that's going to be on Tuesday, I think on the 15th. That's going to be the final regular season game at Regal Soccer Stadium.
Last regular season game ever.
That's right. And so the next 2 are going to be critical, and then they're going to finish up, I think, the last weekend of October. They're going to go on the road to Spokane, who is also, jockeying for playoff position at this stage. So a lot of fun stuff coming up in the next month.
Are we going back up to, is it Spokane? Yeah, I know Spokane we close out with. Do we have Madison as well again? Or are we done with Madison?
Oh, yeah, that is right. Between the Central Valley Fuego game and Spokane, they are going to go up to Madison.
And that's why you've got to come away, well, hopefully come away with 6 points in the next 2 games, if not 4, to really kind of help you in that standing to get that home field advantage in the playoffs, because obviously going to Madison, that is not an easy place to play. I've watched a couple of games on ESPN Plus. Maybe you've had a chance to check it out. They pack them in there. Those fans traveled well for the Jägermeister.
Definitely.
And so that is always a tough place to play. And then obviously also, that's just, you got the 3-hour change heading out to Spokane. Hopefully you can take care of business out there. They are below us in the standings, not by much. But they are above that playoff line, but you never know where they'll be sitting going in the game. They may need that game to just kind of solidify their standing in the playoffs. So, you kind of want to go and take care of business now in these next 2, ahead of these 2 final road games to close out the regular season.
Absolutely, yeah. Still so much to be decided, even in this final month of the season. The playoffs are going to get underway in that first weekend of November.
Yeah.
So, a lot of exciting stuff coming. And speaking of exciting stuff to put on your calendar, I know a lot of soccer fans in the state were disappointed when Nashville was not selected to host the 2026 World Cup. But let's say, I guess this is a nice consolation prize with the news being released this week that Geodis Park, home of Nashville SC, will be one of the 12 venues that will host the 2025 Club World Cup. This is a new expanded field for the Club World Cup. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's the best club teams from every continent coming together to see, who is the best club team in the world. And under this new expanded format, not only are you going to have a European champion going to come over, you're going to have 3 or 4 European champions, a Real Madrid, a Manchester City, a Chelsea, some of the best teams down from South America, Palmeiras and Santos, or
it's great. And
so much
some of those teams you'll go, you'll be like Auckland. I mean, but I remember when the World Club Cup first started, right? And you're saying, I don't know half these teams, but this is a tournament that FIFA has really worked on. It's come a long way. Like you said, they're going to have an expanded field. And I think it's great for Nashville. You'll be able to see some world-class players, that is for sure. And I'm glad that Geodis is getting a chance to host, because it's the largest soccer-specific stadium in the country, correct?
That's right.
So I'm glad it's been included in that. And I think we're all disappointed as far as the World Cup, but this is a good consolation, I think. Like you said, you're still going to see some world-class players coming through here. And as we were talking beforehand, you might even see, Messi and the gang at some point, because they changed the rules a little bit, right? Or the U.S. is trying to doctor them a little bit.
It is interesting, I haven't heard an official announcement on this yet, but if you were following MLS last night, Inter Miami, Lionel Messi's team, clinched the Supporters' Shield, best regular season team in Major League Soccer. And there's been some reporting today from a couple different outlets that MLS is going to give the Club World Cup berth for this year to the Supporter Shield winner, which is Inter Miami. Now, last year and for previous editions of the Club World Cup, the MLS Cup champion has been the team that gets that Club World Cup berth. So it's like I said, I haven't seen the official announcement on this yet. I mean, it goes without saying that MLS would love to have Inter Miami and Messi in this tournament, but it's going to be interesting. You know,
it draws a lot. I see where they're going with it. It draws a lot of eyes, and I do see. I mean, maybe I don't see. I go back and forth on this. You know, you win the supporters. Okay, you're the best team in the regular season. That is a long road to haul, right?
Right.
And to finish with the best record, it says a lot. On the flip side,
you know, MLS has already had to deal with some allegations that the rules are a little bit bent for Miami, and I think some of those are overblown to an extent. But when this news comes on one day after that Miami did clinch, like you said, it does make you wonder a little.
Well, it is a good, it's a good billboard for the league. I don't see a lot of people clamoring to buy Charlotte FC jerseys in England. But you do every once in a while, if you're watching a Premier League game, you'll see a Miami jersey in the crowd. And obviously it's a Messi jersey. I don't know. Because you don't want to shortchange whoever wins the cup, the MLS Cup. Maybe there'd be a way we can get both teams in. I don't know. But, I kind of go back and forth on this. We'll see if it actually happens. They'll still be
exactly. Yeah, that's still at the unconfirmed stage. We've seen some reporting from a few different outlets, but yeah, this is going to be an awesome tournament. Great to see it come to the volunteer state.
And anxious to see who'll be playing in Nashville. Be excited to see who actually comes here.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, that's going to be another storyline we'll be following going into next year. We mentioned this on some of the previous shows about Mauricio Pochettino, now the U.S. men's national team manager, really the most high-profile hire that U.S. soccer has ever made. Released his first roster for some friendlies coming next month in the international window. So called in a big squad, has a chance to look at and evaluate a couple of different players, but nothing too abnormal when you look at this squad. It's going to be interesting to see. I think the big question that a lot of U.S. fans have, myself included, is what does the anchor of this defense look like? Tim Ream, Charlotte FC, has been such an anchor for this team.
But he's not as young
for the last
as he used
2
to
years.
Be.
Exactly. He's getting up there in years. He just ended a long, really fruitful career for Fulham in England. And who is the successor in that center back pairing? Walker Zimmerman, a great Nashville player, not on this squad. So it's going to be a big chance for players like a Miles Robinson and Austin Trusty from Celtic to see if they can, impress the new manager and, solidify their place in this squad. And then, a couple different interesting midfield options. Aidan Morris has had a really great start to life in England. He made a move from Columbus Crew over to Middlesbrough in the Championship, second division in England. And a lot of squad places, I would say, to fight for this team. I think the starting 11, it's going to be hard for players to break into that, but there is a couple of opportunities, like I said, in the defense, in one of those midfield spots. So, a lot to play for. Friendlies, it's easy to say, this is a glorified scrimmage, doesn't really move the needle, but especially under the new manager,
this is a tryout.
You're going to see players really giving exceptional effort in a way that you might not see always at a friendly level.
And it's not just out on the field too. He's going to be watching to see what happens in the locker room, what's happening, traveling from venue to venue and what have you. He's going to try to analyze this whole thing and break it down and see who brings the best feel to this team, both on and off the pitch. So that's why there's so many names up there right now, and you sit there and go, okay, well, there's a hole there. There's something we need to do there. Honestly, the way the team's been playing, I don't think anybody should walk into that thinking I feel safe, except for maybe Pulisic.
Right, absolutely.
Other than that, I'd be like, okay, well, I got to go out here and prove something.
I think that's what all U.S. fans want to see is that this team used to be,
at least on this side of the globe, in the northern hemisphere, right? We used to be, you'd think, okay, yeah, we're the dominating team now. We've finally caught up with Mexico. We're going toe to toe with them. But then when you lose to Canada and you have other teams, you lose some of the other Central American teams. No disrespect to them, obviously some of those teams are amazing. But we got to that point where we're thinking, okay, well we're good here. Now we just need to take it to the next level. Well, now we just got to reestablish ourselves here at home.
Right. There's been a degree of complacency, grit and determination, and hard work and hard tackling used to be so synonymous with this team. Haven't always seen that with this newer generation. So it's going to be interesting to see if Mauricio Pochettino will be able to instill the intensity that has become so synonymous with this men's national team program.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. I think that's spot on. I mean, it's just finding that intensity when they come out and to play when they put that jersey on. Nothing's guaranteed when you put that jersey on now, right? But when you put it on, it means something to you, and you go out there and you win the game. But yeah, I'm really anxious to see. You mentioned the defense, to see just how he puts this together. It just seems like in my lifetime that has just kind of been the sore spot, the weak spot, if you will, for the United States. We've always had some decent players, but we just can't seem to solidify that back line. There's always been a hole here or there that has always cost us, and that's not our strength. And I'd really be interested to see how he builds that back.
It is going to be interesting. Yeah. And there's a goalie competition afoot.
That is up
for grabs.
Goalies in the past. I'm not taking anything away from the goalkeepers. I'm just talking about center backs, running backs, things like that. But yeah, you're right. I mean, we do have some talent. Minding the store in the back there.
Exactly. So the World Cup 2026 closer than you might think. So short time for Mauricio Pochettino to come in and instill his philosophy and get this team prepared for the biggest soccer event in the world coming to our shores, in just 2 years. So can't wait to see how they approach those games and the 2025 with the Gold Cup. So a lot of exciting stuff happening.
Yeah.
Like we said, One Knoxville headed to Chattanooga this weekend. I'll be there. Can't wait to see that one go down, and we'll break about.
Where's something loud so we can see on TV when we watch this thing on ESPN?
All right,
on ESPN Plus.
I'll put on my high vis my high vis jacket like I'm on a road crew.
That's what we want. All right, definitely. So watch for Greg on TV, or if you're there, definitely swing by and tell him hello.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. Take care. Bye.